the mesomorph is the ectomorph or endomorph, or the combination of the two latter, who actually manages to train and diet right. Or just the guy who has exercised and eaten enough in his childhood that he isn't skinny or obese. Hello YouTube, hello Fit fam, welcome to today's informational video, and the topic today is going to be genetics, or basically the fitness industry's perception of genetics, people's beliefs about their metabolism, how they believe they are set up for either a difficult muscle gain or a difficult weight loss. In this video you will get information you will find nowhere else in the fitness industry. So watch this if you want to totally revamp your perception about your set point to build muscle or lose fat. Click on the like button to help my YouTube algorithm and make my channel grow. Subscribe to my channel to never miss any videos. I have lots of informational videos and a series for my contest prep going on for my men's physique debut in September. I'm an ambitious and upcoming YouTuber, and I really want to get my channel monetized as soon as possible and make the dream of living out of making content true. Let's start today's talk. We basically have the fitness industry split up in two spaced up categories of people aiming to become more jacked by building muscle and losing fat. First, the easy gainer, or the guy who easily adds on muscle. However, this guy might also add on fat quite easily, and his fat loss periods are so difficult and he gets so hungry. And we have two, the hard gainer, the guy who needs to work hard to add on muscle. Looking at fat gain, this guy is way more lucky because he doesn't add on fat as easy as the easy gainer does. His fat loss phases are quick and easy if you even have to do these. It's so common to hear these phrases in the fitness industry. Every guy just blames their metabolism for how their body works.
I'm a guy with historically kind of slow metabolism.
And most people blame their genetics for that. Many people use irrational arguments for why things are like it is, just blaming the circumstances, and don't want to understand why things are like they are. If you actually want to understand why I struggle to build muscle or struggle to lose fat, continue watching this video. If you still want to be stuck in oblivion about your body physiology and continue your insanely difficult fat loss or weight gain periods, use your time and energy somewhere else. Many people blame their genetics and their set points for gaining muscle or losing body fat. They believe blindly in this ectomorph, mesomorph and endomorph charts. It's a theory about the genetic set point. Difficult to add on muscle. Difficult to lose fat. No. Stop thinking it. It's not how it works. Here is the thing. The only factor for your conditions for building muscle or losing fat is your lifestyle. If you associate yourself with being an ectomorph, mesomorph or endomorph, it has no impact on how easy it is to build muscle or lose fat. No, just stop believing it. It's purely your lifestyle, your training effort, and your effort in the kitchen. Your lifestyle is the single determinant of your appetite and your energy expenditure, which are actually the only variables important for creating a calorie deficit or a slight calorie surplus. Your lifestyle is a combination of what exercise you do. If you only lift weights and do no cardio, you will have a really hard time getting lean, I promise. Do you do activities with friends, like for example playing basketball? How many steps do you walk every day? Basically, what kind of habits do you have for everyday activity? Do you always drive your car or take the bus? How much unprocessed food are you eating? This is very crucial. When you are eating enough unprocessed food that you like, you are not missing the processed food keeping your appetite in the heaven. If you actually eat lots of unprocessed food, fruits and vegetables, you will lose your appetite. I can really confirm this by totally changing up my diet and going from being an obese teenager who doesn't know about the world outside gaming to a carb-addicted powerlifter, and later on being enlightened by the most healthy nutrition and all kinds of exercise, and work towards competing in men's physique in September. How big eating window you have is also important. I'm not blindly advocating intermittent fasting or saying it's healthy, but people having a fasting window have a way bigger chance of eating less calories throughout the day. Many infinitely skinny people actually eat 2 times a day, but it's neither healthy. These people are in extreme nutrient and vitamin deficiencies, which are not healthier than obese people. If there is a genetic factor that affects things here, it's how much you like to eat foods. If you actually like enormous portions of food, like I do, and I have a history of, for example, if you eat 100 plus grams of carbs per meal, or have a binge eating disorder, your stomach will widen, and you just make overeating a habit. If you are not a sporting athlete or a powerlifter, you don't need these amounts of food. When your stomach increases, your body adapts to ridiculous amounts of food, and it becomes an addiction. Unfortunately, these people just consider themselves easy gainers, and because of their fatiguing all-in training in the gym skyrockets their cortisol levels, they find it incredibly difficult to lose weight on 3000 calories. On the other end of the scale, we have the people who find it difficult to eat 4 portions of food a day and struggle to eat more than 500 calories on a meal because they have grown up in an environment where they learn to eat fruits and vegetables and don't binge eat because they know what balance is. If you don't get hungry and actually have the lifestyle to keep your appetite at good levels the entire day, you will have a hard time gaining weight. There are 2 hormones that are kind of the devils in the fitness industry, creating eating disorders, making people overeat, and making gym training obsession unhealthy. 1. Insulin. The problem here is that the typical guy in the fitness industry fucks up his appetite by ridiculous carb intakes. I'm not saying eating carbs is wrong, and especially eating carbs with lots of nutrients and fiber to regulate appetite. But you need to control it. Playing with carbs is like playing with flames. It's like playing with fire. Having a world without carbs is like a world without combustion. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. But for God's sake, control what you put in your body. In the same way as factory workers control the fuel they are putting into their machinery. Eating 600 grams of carbs will only be stored as body fat. If you are not an athlete training 10 hours a week of carb-depleting training or running a marathon, and by that the body creates the insulin sensitivity, tricking the body to eat more. And that's what's happening to every guy in the fitness industry bulking, wishing he could gain mass and no fat, but believes he always needs to cut and bulk. 2. And the second evil hormone is cortisol. It's a hormone creating lots of eating disorders, unnecessary calorie surpluses, and ruining tons of gains across the fitness industry. It's a stress hormone coming from any kind of stress in life or from exercise, and it mostly occurs for people who can't manage fatigue, who creates bigger training adaptations than the body could adapt to or recover from, and from that things only get worse. Too much heavy squat bench deadlift. Stop maxing out every week. Way too few calories on a cutting phase. Forget dieting on 1800 calories and do the weight loss slower. Too many weeks in a row with a hard hypertrophy training. Too high heart rate on your cardio sessions. Do it in larger amounts with an average of less than 150 beats per minute. Manage your fatigue and make sure your cortisol doesn't go to the heaven. The only place where the model of ectomorphs, endomorphs, and mesomorphs is applicable is on joint and muscle tendon architecture. The actually only relevant information you get here is the size of your joint and bone structure, which to a mild degree determine how much muscle mass you can gain, because the muscle bellies are like anchors for muscle. This could basically be explained by that the ectomorph has a lanky body structure and is less genetically equipped to build lots of muscle mass, like for example David Lade, and the endomorph has a stocky body structure with a huge potential for growing mass. The mesomorph, like the middle ground, or the most genetically lucky, the guy who doesn't have the same struggles as the two others for putting on mass or losing fat. And the actual truth here is, hold a breath, the mesomorph is the ectomorph or endomorph, or the combination of the two latter, who actually manages to train and diet right. Or just the guy who has exercised and eaten enough in his childhood that he isn't skinny or obese. You can have good genetics for building muscle, but getting jacked is a result of executing the right work, and that there is a mesomorph who has a genetic propensity to just magically become insane. It's a freaking lie. The truth about gaining muscle and losing fat is that people associated with any of these somatotypes have a very similar metabolism and a similar lifestyle, and they have a very similar muscle gain ratio on similar training effort. Of course, a stocky built guy who thinks he is an endomorph has a bigger potential than a lanky guy perceiving he is an ectomorph. Let all this sink in and re-evaluate if you actually have a fast or slow metabolism. To say that ectomorphs, endomorphs, and mesomorphs don't exist, like Jason Blaha claims, is an exaggeration.
Ectomorphs, endomorphs, and mesomorphs, they don't actually exist.
But don't be the guy who uses your perceived somatotype as an excuse to either be obese or to not build any muscle. You can rather categorize these somatotypes as results of lifestyles. The ectomorph has a lifestyle or environment that supports being in a calorie deficit or at calories to maintain a really low body fat, and he is not eating enough unprocessed food to properly build muscle. And the endomorph has a lifestyle where he is used to eat lots of food, supporting both muscle gain and fat gain. And the mesomorph is actually the endomorph or ectomorph regarding his joint and bone structure, who actually manages to train and eat properly, gaining muscle mass in a slight calorie surplus, or he is body recomping by hard training and lots of unprocessed food, resulting in a negative calorie balance and a positive muscle protein synthesis. A very important factor for how much muscle mass you can gain in practice is the quality of your resistance training, and of course if you are training for the specificity of hypertrophy. Heavy squat bench deadlift is not optimal for muscle growth. Only die-hard powerlifting fanboys will claim against it. A precursor for that somebody calls himself a mesomorph is that he does the right training that activates the muscles. Good lifting tempo, constant tension, time and attention to hit the right intensity, going hard, and progressive overload are some of the precursors for muscle gains. Here is my story. Genetically, I could definitely associate with the endomorph and the mesomorph, as I have the history of both gaining muscle, gaining strength, and gaining fat. At the age of 14, or even at the age of 22, when I was lost into powerlifting training while simultaneously permacutting and had eating on the borderline to disorders, I could just come with the argument that I have a slow metabolism. But losing my ego and being more self-aware, I was just the guy who ate a lot. In my childhood, my mother had to warn everybody of how much food I was eating. Going to a birthday party, for me, was just eating everything I could see, and everybody else would be shocked. Maybe somebody should have given unlimited unprocessed food to me, so I could eat driving my digestion to insanity, rather than eating until I'm obese. I have a stocky joint and bone structure, But the reason I originally considered myself an endomorph, not a mesomorph, was because I was so obese and made an environment for myself where it was easy to stay in a calorie surplus or maintaining a high body fat. When I started lifting, and in kind of my first period in my training journey, I was only perceiving that sporting athletes ate normal amounts of food. If I didn't have a massive bowl or plate full of food, it was not a worthy meal. I was carb bombing myself because I perceived I could lift so much more. After thinking through life and actually getting to know the lifestyle and eating patterns of my skinny friends and surroundings who never get fat, no matter how sedimentary they are, I found out that the average guy eats so little. In today's society, it's so common to eat 2 or 3 times a day. It's ridiculous. But nonetheless, I'm considering myself an endomorph here who can't lose weight because I'm not doing enough activity outside the gym and I'm not handling my insulin and cortisol. It's as easy as that. Now I'm doing both cardio and lifting, training freaking hard for hypertrophy, and have a balanced life activity-wise outside the gym. And for the most part, I only eat unprocessed food. Am I a mesomorph now? And if I played hour after hour of basket, forgot to eat so I ate 2000 calories spread on 3 meals, and only was busy socializing, doing my vlogging and my businesses, would I be an ectomorph? Think about it. It's a result of my lifestyle, and you live in oblivion before you understand how it actually works. Or maybe you live in Tamriel or Cyrodiil. Unfortunately, I find many people in the fitness industry claiming that they are easy gainers with a slow metabolism, with lots of the similarities of me at these times. They just eat a lot. Their calories are higher because of the mentioned lifestyle factors, and they have the mindful propensity to train freaking hard. On the opposite infinity, I see many people in the hard gainer category eat less than 4 times a day. You are simply not hungry, and then you don't eat enough to fuel good training sessions. And by that, you are not training hard enough to gain the muscle you want. No matter of in which of these categories you find yourself in, or where you struggle, consider your lifestyle. Find a way to improve your life habits and lifestyle to support your training goals and your dream physique. Set realistic goals. Make more steps a habit. Step by step every month. Walk 2000 steps more every month. Build slowly. Do some basketball sessions with your friends. Or try to find another active hobby like for example rollerblades. I don't have those or any skating board, but you understand what I mean. You get freaking active from that. Consider how much processed food are you eating. How many units of fruits and vegetables are you eating? Think about that, and you will find out why you need to eat 4000 calories to feel satisfied and full. Manage your cortisol. Don't peak for a powerlifting meet or do 6 hard gym sessions a week continuously for months. So you don't get carb addicted and you drive your insulin sensitivity to the sky. Do the changes slowly and you will realize everything and find it way easier to keep a year around lean body. Or if you have the opposite problem, just find a way to eat more meals and more calories. Make a shake. Eat some nuts or peanut butter. Eat way more fruits and vegetables. And learn hard training by lifting tempo, controlling the weight with the muscle, and go hard. When you work on that, you will gain mass and you will never think about that you have bad genetics. And that's today's lecture. Just think about it for yourself. Take a walk in the park. Are you training hard? Do you walk lots of steps? Do you eat balanced portions? Or are you eating 500 plus grams of carbs every day? Do you eat at least 4 times a day? Forget your label of easy gainer or hard gainer. And just work on improving your lifestyle and just make the work you need to do the gains. Press the like button if you like this video. Comment down below. Do you find it hard to gain muscle or lose fat? How are your joints and bone structured? Are you motivated to achieve your training goals? Subscribe to my channel to help me develop this to a bigger audience. And of course, so you won't miss the next video and my men's physique show in September. Thank you for watching.